Good morning, guys. Welcome to your next lesson in the solving quadratics unit. All right, today we're going to be doing all methods. So we're going to review all the methods that we've been learning: factoring, quadratic formula, complete the square, solving by square roots. Everything that you've been learning, we're going to do today. All right, so we're going to start off today with our new agenda, which is complete the square. I know you guys did that, I believe, yesterday with Mr. GoSign. So we're going to review that a little bit right now, go over that one more time, and then we're going to move on, to review all the methods for today. All right, I'm going to do each one at least once so you guys can see it. And if you guys have any questions, I'll be on later for the Google Hangout, or you guys can message me like you've been doing, depending on how your schedule is for the day. All right, so looking at complete the square, what I'm going to do right now for you guys is I'm actually going to post the steps for you guys, so you guys have the steps. Give me 1 second. Where did I put those things? There they are. Alright, so we're going to copy the steps. We're going to paste it right here. And now you guys have the steps for completing the square right here. So what I want you guys to do right now is try this on your own. I put the steps here for you guys. Try it on your own, see how you guys do. Hit the pause button now so you guys can try it. Alright, so hopefully by now you guys have at least given it an attempt. Try to see what you can do. Hopefully it went pretty well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lower this a little bit. I'm going to minimize this a little bit. Alright, so this way we can still have this to the side, but we can start practicing the other stuff, Alright, so let's get started. We're going to be doing completing the square. So our first step, step 1, is move the constant to the right side. The constant is at -2, so please do -2 to both sides. Alright, I'm going to go all the way over to the left now, just so you guys see it. So we're all the way over to the left. We have x squared plus 12x. Leave that space, we're going to be putting something there, equals a -2. Now, step 2 says take half of the b term and square it. So if I take half the b term, remember our b term is 12, so really we should be using this formula, b over 2 squared. Oop, I put that a little high, give me 1 second. Lower that, there you go. b over 2 squared. Our b, I hope you guys noticed, is 12. So now we have 12 over 2 squared. 12 divided by 2, last time I checked, was 6. And 6 squared is 36. And we're going to be adding that to both sides of the equation. Alright? Making that look like a little better of an arrow. Alright, so we're going to add 36 to both sides of the equation. And then we go from there. So next, we're going to square root both sides. Don't forget that the number before you square it, when you do step 2, so this number right here, that's going to be your answer. When you factor down, that's your answer. So if you ever get lost, if you're ever not sure, just check right there and you got it. So we have x plus 6 and x plus 6. Please do not forget that the parentheses have to be the same. If they're not the same, you did something wrong. So please make sure you got them to be the same, alright? Alright, look what I did. Terrible, terrible. Fix that. There we go. Looks a little better. Alright, now we're going to rewrite it. So before we so now we're going to rewrite it. We're going to have x plus 6 squared equals 34. We're going to square root both sides in order to try to solve. So we're going to square root the left side, square root the right side. Alright? So now we should have x plus 6 all by itself equals the square root of 34. Now we gotta see if 34 is square rootable. So let me pull up my calculator here like I should have had. My apologies. Pull up the reliable calculator here. Any day now, calculator. Any day now. There we go. Alright, so we go to y equals. Our number we're looking for is 34 divided by x. Second graph. And let's see what we got here. So according to this, my only factors of 34 are 1 and 34 and 2 and 17. I don't have any other factors. So since I don't have any other factors, I cannot break down 34. I leave 34 as is. So now I just do my last step. I'm going to move this up a little bit. Now I just do my last step. I got x plus 6 equal to 34. Solving for x, so I minus 6 to both sides. And then don't forget that plus minus. This is probably the most important thing you guys remember. So that plus minus is very important, so please don't forget that, alright? Alright, so that is our completing the square method. Hopefully you guys, again, if you have any questions, you can message, you can wait till later for Google Hangouts, so you can see my beautiful face, whatever you guys want to do, alright? Let's move on, though. So, our mini lesson for today, like we said, we're going to do all the methods for solving a quadratic equation. So we got factoring, we got quadratic formula, we got square rooting, and we got complete the square. Alright? So take a look at that real quick just to make sure you guys got familiarized with that, alright? Alright. So let's start reviewing them. Let's look at our first problem. First problem, x squared minus 10x equals 24. So we should really decide what method to use here. Now, if I rewrite this down here, my first thing I should do, I could do one of two things, really. I have two methods I could do here. I could either do trinomial or I could do complete the square, okay? I'm going to show you both. Now, let me write down that answer right here for you. And the reason is because there's no number in front of x squared, so that's why we can use either one. So no number, oops, excuse me guys, give me 1 second. No number in front of x squared. I know you're going to comment, give me 1 second. Oh, why is this being so difficult? There we go, that's as good as it's going to get. Alright, so let's use our first method. Since we're already kind of in position for it, let's do complete the square. If you guys notice, it's already kind of in position for you to use complete the square. The c term, that 24 is technically our constant, that's already been moved over. So this 24 right here, that's already been moved over. So since it's moved over, we can kind of just go from here, okay? So we're just going to do complete the square. We have our b, which is negative 10. So remember, b over 2 squared, which is negative 10 over 2 squared, which is negative 5 squared, which is 25. All right. So we're going to add 25 to both sides here. So we have x squared minus 10x plus 25 equals 24 plus 25. All right. Now we go from here. We have x minus 5 and x minus 5 equals 99. I'm sorry. Wow. My math is very off. Let me replace that with a 49. I apologize for that. Got a little ambitious, as they say. All right. From here, we are going to now rewrite and get x minus 5 squared equals 49. Now we're going to square root both sides. And you get x minus 5 is equal to 7 because 49 is a perfect square, and the square root of 49 is 7. So now we add 5 to both sides. Please be careful here. Even though we have a perfect square, we still have to add certain things. All right? So I still have to add 5 to both sides, and I still have to remember to plus or minus. That plus or minus doesn't go away. All right? That's very important. Very important for you to remember this plus or minus right here. That plus or minus is so important. I can't stress that enough. All right, guys? All right. From here, now we just do the simple math. We do 5 plus 7 and 5 minus 7. All right. Let me extend this page for you guys a little bit. All right. So what I'm going to do, oh, hold on, I dropped my pen. All right. So I'm going to do, to show you guys down here, we have 5 plus 7. Oh, sorry about that. We have 5 plus 7, and we have 5 minus 7. 5 plus 7, 12. 5 minus 7, negative 2. And those would be your two answers. All right? So that's if you did complete the square method. All right, so this is complete the square method. And it's already, again, it's already set up for you because they have the 24 all by itself. Okay? So since they have it all by itself, we don't have to move it back over to the left side. Leave it on the right side, and then just continue your steps from there. Now, if you don't like complete the square, all right, or you just notice that you could have used something different, let me show you really quick what it would have been like to factor. Now, granted, factor would definitely have been quicker. So if you tried factoring, good job. All right, factor is definitely the quicker option. Honestly, factoring is probably what I'd prefer personally. All right, so if we go back up here, again, we have x squared minus 10x equals 24. Here we would subtract 24 over, because remember, we got a factor. So we need everything by itself. So we would subtract 24 over. And we get x squared minus 10x minus 24 equals 0. All right? From here, just do your trinomial method. So x minus, sorry guys, let me fix that for you. So we have x minus, and we have x plus. Don't forget, drop the negative 10, and then negative times negative is a positive. All right? And two factors of 24 that combine to 10 are 12 and 2. All right? So 12 goes first, 2 goes second, and then we do our t time. So t time. So x equals positive 12, and x equals negative 2. All right? All right. So hopefully, whichever method you liked out of both of those you picked, it doesn't really matter because you can factor this. If you couldn't factor this, you would have to do complete the square. But in this case, since you can factor, it doesn't really matter what method you pick. All right. All right. So let's move on. I feel like now is about the time that Beyonce would come in late, be out of dress code. So just in case you are, Beyonce, make sure you're please back in dress code today, all right? Thank you very much. Also, Michael, stop talking to Devin. You're distracting him. It's getting a little ridiculous. Okay, next question. So now we have solving quadratics here. We have 3x squared plus 6x minus 2. All right, so let's solve this. What method are we using? Well, we have a number in front of x squared and a trinomial. So we should be using the quadratic formula. Oh yeah, the quadratic formula. Why? Because there's a number. Oh my god, I cannot write today. Let's try that again. What is happening? Alright, so why are we doing this? Because there's a number in front of x squared. So that's where we're going to use the quadratic formula. Alright, and then for those of you who forgot, the quadratic formula, you know what? Instead of me writing it and it looking terrible, let me just copy and paste it for you guys so you guys just have it. Alright, give me 1 second. Quadratic formula. Let me just get that for you guys because you know me writing and look really, really bad. Alright, quadratic formula. Come on. Here we go. Copy it. And let's bring it back to our lesson right here. Alright, so just in case we forgot what this puppy looks like, here's our quadratic formula. Alright, that's fine. Okay, so don't forget, when we're doing our quadratic formula, we have to identify our A, B, and C, alright? So if we look back up at the problem really quick, our A is 3, our B is 6, and our C is negative 2, alright? There we go. There we go. Okay. So let's plug them into our problem now. So we're going to have negative 6. Alright, negative 6 plus or minus 6 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 2. And all that is going to be over 2 times 3. Okay? So just really quick before I move the screen down, A is our 3. So wherever we see A, right here and right here, we put in 3. 6 is our B. So we see the 6, we see B's right here, negative B and B squared. So that's where we put in our 6. And negative 2 is our C. We only have C once, and that's right here, so that's where we put our negative 2. Okay? Okay. Now we continue solving. So, next thing we're going to be doing is under the radical. Please remember, do this without the radical in your calculator. It will be easier, I promise you. And the reason is we don't know if we're going to have a perfect square or not. So why take the chance, okay? No reason to take the chance. So if you just type in your calculator exactly how you have it right here, you're going to be good to go. Please don't forget, and I made the mistake, let me fix that right now, that 6 should be in parentheses, okay? Let me rewrite that 6 for you. This 6 right here for the b squared should definitely be in parentheses. I apologize for not doing that before, okay? All right, going back to our calculator now. If we type it in exactly the way we have it here, it will be good. So let me clear that out. All right, so I'm going to be typing in parentheses 6 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 2. So it's exactly what I have under the radical right here, without the radical though, because I don't know if it's square root. Now we press enter and we get 60. Now, for my best of my recollection, 60 is not a perfect square. You guys can go back and check that perfect square list you should have. But 60 is not a perfect square, which means that we have to try to either break it down or leave it alone. I don't know what's going to happen, so let's see. Now let's go back to our calculator. Go to y equals. Let's put in 60 divided by x to see all our factors of 60. All right, so my factors of 60. Let's start from the top here. And if you guys notice right here on the screen, I'm going to put the factors right here for you guys, all right? So 60. Factors of 60. We have 1 and 60. We have 2 and 30. We have 3 and 20. 4, 15. 5 and 12. 6 and 10. And that's the last factor, 6 and 10. So these are all my factors. Let's go back to our screen now. These are all my factors right here. I only have one pair of perfect squares, and that is 4 and 15. All right? So I break down the 60 to 4 and 15. So that's negative 6 plus or minus. We take the square root of 4, which is 2. 2 radical 15 over 6. All right? Now, this could be one way they put the answer, just like this. Or, and I know this is going to annoy some of you, and it's okay. You're allowed to be annoyed with this, but unfortunately, it's not going to change anything, all right? Give me 1 second. All right, back here. Okay? Or, what they can do is they can divide both numerators with the denominator, okay? And the way that would look, and I'm going to put it down here for you guys so you can see it, is they would do negative 6. Whatever is in blue is going to be able to be divided, okay? If it's not in blue, it cannot be divided, just so you guys can see how it looks like, all right? So what they can do is they can do negative 6 plus or minus 2, and they could divide them both, all right? And what that would give you, again, I'm sorry it's confusing, what that would give you is negative 1, all right? Because 6 divided by 6 would cancel out, plus or minus, and then when we have this 2 and 6, remember that's kind of like a fraction, so just reduce it to simplest form. 2 and 6 would reduce to 1 over 3, so 1 square root 15 over 3. And that's the other way that they can write the final answer. All right, so you can have final answer written in one of two ways. You can have it what we have up here, which is with the radical inside. All right, negative 6 plus or minus 2 radical 15. Or if they want you guys to reduce the numerators, we can reduce the numerators. You cannot, one more time, you cannot divide inside the radical by outside the radical. That is not possible, okay? All right, so that's quadratic formula. let's look at our next method now. All right, so here we have parentheses with a square equals 45. So I hope you guys see by here we're going to use solve by square rooting. Hopefully you guys see that. George might not see that because he's probably drawing by now, but hopefully he stopped drawing so he can see it. And also Leo's probably talking to Holly right now, so if you guys can stop talking so you guys can pay attention too, that'd be great. So what method are we going to use? We're going to solve by square rooting. And plain and simple, why? Because of the parentheses and exponent. Alright, let me fix that a little bit for you guys so you guys can make fun of me. There you go. Okay. So we have, oh, what happened? Sorry about that. Come on. Get rid of this. Oh, what is happening? Well, something weird has happened here, so give me 1 second. Let me see if I can figure this out. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, getting back to work now. So, we have k plus 3 squared equals 45. Square root both sides. So I have k plus 3 equals the square root of 45. All right, now we break down our 45 to 9 and 5. Square root of 9 is 3. So we have k plus 3 equals 3 radical 5. And then our last step, subtract 3 to both sides. And don't forget your plus minus. All right, that was a nice short one compared to the rest. Because it's already radicals, and it's pretty given what they're going to do, all right? All right, last but not least here. Oh, sorry, I want you guys to try one more thing here before I let you guys go into your group work, which is, this is a Regents level question, all right? They often ask you guys which equation has the same solution by doing this. Ideally, what they want you guys to do is do complete the square until you get to one of these options. If you guys remember, I'm going to go back a little bit to the do now. If you guys remember, for complete the square, where it has blue, okay, this is where you guys, so right here, blue, this is pretty much a step it wants you at the last question. Wants to see how it gets to one of these choices, okay? So that's what we're going to check out right now. So, ideally what you're going to do is just to complete the square until you get to one of these choices. You don't have to finish it. All right, so here's what I mean. We're going to add 5 to both sides. I'm going to do it now. Add 5 to both sides. Okay, so I get x minus 6x equals 5. Okay, really quick, right above it, I'm going to do our b over 2 squared. So right up here, I'm going to do b over 2 squared, which is negative 6. All right. Oops, it's got a little off screen. Let me go back up. And then that's going to equal negative 3 squared, which is going to equal 9. So we're going to be adding 9 to both sides. So I have x squared minus 6x plus 9. Factor this down. X minus 3, x minus 3 equals 14. And hopefully you see that that is choice B. Okay. There we go. So hopefully you see that as choice B. All right, because you have the x minus 3, which would become x minus 3 squared. And that's an equal 14. All right. So what method should we be using for this? Complete the square. And why? Because of the multiple choices. Because of the multiple choices given. Again, I'm very sorry for my handwriting today. It's just a little bit off. All right. All right, guys. So that is the end of the lessons I have for you. Here are your practice problems. All right. As always, please make sure you are pausing on this screen and you are doing these problems and handing it in. Remember, it says solve each quadratic, and on the right side, you should be writing what method you've used. But this does say solve, so you should have 4 answers plus the challenge question. I miss you guys as always. I hope you guys are doing real good. I hope you and your families are safe and healthy, and I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.